must have heard about this term eureka or aha moment which occurred in the life of Archimedes. Not only Archimedes, but also we have another famous person, that is Newton, who experienced the same kind of moment in which he realized something. You must have watched the movie Brahmastra, in which there is a famous actor Ranbir Kapoor who plays a role of Shiva, and he realizes his powers and emerges as a great fire element. So children, these moments of epiphany, these moments of realization which change your life completely are called as epiphanic moments. Okay, so we will come to know about a famous epiphanic moment in the life of a great American poet, that is Robert Lee Frost. Robert Frost has written great poems like The Road Not Taken and Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening. I'm very sure that you must have heard these names. Yes, such great poetry was written by Robert Frost. Now, Robert Frost was a very simple writer, yet the poetry had a deeper layer of meaning, right? Because great ideas do not require big words. And that's why Robert Frost chose very simple language, yet with very deep meaning. So we will get to know about this epiphanic moment which occurred in the life of the poet. Now, one day, what happened? He must be in a very bad mood, sad, dejected, hopeless, and he had so many negative ideas in his mind. Okay, do you remember MS Dhoni, Sushant Singh Rajput? He also experiences this kind of moment when he was really sad and he was sitting on a railway platform and he watches the train leaving and he realizes that he's not meant to be there. He is meant to be a great cricketer, right? So that moment is called as realization or manifestation of what is important to you, what can change your life completely. Similarly, the poet was in a very bad mood, very pessimistic mood, and he just wanders, comes across a place where there was a tree which is called as hemlock tree, which has white flowers. Okay, so hemlock tree, and out of nowhere, a crow comes fluttering its wings, perches on the branch of a tree, and lets a dust of snow fall upon the poet. That layer of snow falls upon the poet and he snaps out of his negativity. This moment, this natural phenomenon is a kind of moment which has changed his perspective and changed his life completely. Because he was in a bad mood, now after this realization, he started thinking about the positivities. He started thinking about the blessings in his life, okay? So he chose optimism over pessimism. He chose life over death. So you will find this contrast in two stanzas of this poem also. The first stanza is very kind of sharing a natural occurrence which was when the poet was in a very bad mood, negative mood, okay? When we shift to the next stanza, you will find how his perspective is changed now after this small occurrence, okay? So, the way a crow shook down on me the dust of snow from a hemlock tree. This stanza is revealing triple death image: snow, hemlock, and crow. So deliberately the poet has chosen these death images. Why? Because his mood was very bad. His mood was sad, dejected, and that's why he chose this kind of imagery in the first stanza. Now let's have a look at the second stanza. Okay, he says, this incident has given my heart a change of mood and saved some part of a day I had rued. Very proudly, very happily, he declares that this incident has changed my life inside out. Okay, he says that not only my heart but my entire being is changed completely, and his day has been saved. Not only day, but also his life will be saved, because earlier he was having the thoughts of committing suicide. He wanted to die because he was going through a very tough period of his life. But now He realized that life is for living and I must accept the challenges. I must focus on the solutions instead of problems. And that's why he said that saved some part of a day I had rued. Now, this word rude is very important because this question has been asked many times. Now, what is the meaning of this word rude? Rude means bitterly regret about something. To feel guilty when something goes wrong, when the things are not as per our desires. Sometimes we feel guilty. So instead of feeling guilty, we should focus on what we can do in that problem. How much better we can make ourselves, okay, in those particular situations. That's why the poet says that the day I had wasted, now I'm not going to waste anymore. I'm going to live my life to the fullest. You see, so very small natural occurrence has changed his perspective completely. Now, children, another aspect of this poem is figures of speech. Obviously, because questions are frequently asked related to poetic devices. The famous poetic device, which is used in tongue twisters also, like Betty bought butter, butter was bitter. And I'm sure you must have heard about she sells seashells on the seashore. So these are tongue twisters where alliteration is used. Similarly, in this poem, the poet has used alliteration. Now, what is alliteration? When the consonant sound is repeated. Just like here, you can see the sound H and S is repeated. All right. This is called as alliteration. I'm sure this figure of speech is very clear to you. Another important figure of speech is when there is a repetition. Again, but repetition of what? Repetition of vowel sound, A, E, I, O, U. And here the sound of O is repeated frequently. That's why assonance is used here. You can clearly see the dust of snow from a hemlock tree. So to give the fluidity to the text, the poets use this kind of figure of speech, which is called as assonance. Now, let me tell you one more special thing about these figures of speech. You have many figures of speech to express different ideas. And in this poem, the poet has used synecdoche also. Now, what is synecdoche? Synecdoche is when you use part instead of whole. When he says that, has given my heart. So, it's not only his heart. Okay, this heart represents his entire being. So, he is using part instead of whole. Just like you use sail for ship, arms for soldiers, hands for laborers. Okay, that is called as synecdoche. And I'm sure this poem is very, very clear to you. Also, I hope that you will be sharing your epiphanic moment with someone in your life. Thank you for watching.